There you are. Good evening. You're welcome to 60 minutes of insightful news here on News Tonight. My name is Kimini Amano.
And I am Patrick Stevenson. It's a very packed bulletin, so do stay tuned with us. But coming up now is the headlines. Now, life is easy when you have all faculties working, but what if you don't? What then? Well, stay tuned for the story of a 24-year-old boy who has never walked nor spoken since he emerged from his mother's womb.
Also to come this hour, children in Ghana are asking for equal access to development as they air their concerns on International Children's Day.
Well, do you want to communicate with anyone from you? Get a phone and that's all you require, but placing a call is not as simple as it sounds to residents of Bilisinga who must climb atop trees in search for an elusive network just to connect with the outside world. We'll bring you some updates on this story.
A news from elsewhere, Mugabe's woes deepen. The long-serving Zimbabwean president to be impeached Tuesday after he allowed what political figures call a usurpation of his powers by his wife.
Well, and more outpouring for Sempa FM's Kaba as friends and colleagues gather to eulogize the 37-year-old talk show host whose passing has shocked the nation. These and many other developments coming up in the bulletin tonight. Do stay with us.
Thanks for staying with us here on News Tonight. In our first story, the Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, has called for peace across the country. According to him, the country will thrive with peace because peace paves way for more development projects. Dr. Bawumia was speaking at this year's Kurubi Festival of the Waranga people at Kintampo in the Bunafo region under the theme, Transformation of the Zongo Communities, the Role of the Youth.
The Kurubi Festival is celebrated annually to commemorate the descending of the first verse of the Holy Quran. The celebration often takes the form of Quran recitation and cultural display. This year's celebration under the theme, Transformation of the Zongo Communities, the Role of the Youth, was graced by the Vice President, Dr. Bawumia, who reiterated the need for people in all traditional areas across the country to come together to build their communities. Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia noted that peace is the only element that will ensure development in all traditional areas across the country.
It is with peace that we can build a better society. Conflicts destroy people. Conflicts destroy wealth. And we cannot build the future through sensational conflict.
The Minister of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts, Catherine Afeku, promised her outfit would continue to support the Kurubi Festival.
Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture, ene nananum afapam sa ye nimo ebe di Kurubi Festival edini yire amana ye kese afibia ye abe amachi na yesu ye de hunsam extre amanone ne oman Ghana sa wangara for ewo culture ewo bibi edixre aman gina nya Ghana kwa.
Sariki Fanyinama III, Chief of Wangara, pledged to continue to use the Kurubi Festival to promote culture and ecotourism in the Kintampo municipality. He commended government for creating the Zongo and Inner City Ministry, which he noted would go a long way to develop the Zongos across the country.
The Kurubi Festival continues to expose to the world the huge potential of cultural and ecotourism in the Kintampo municipalities, which has attracted public and private investment. I want to use this opportunity to thank the MPP government for creating the Zongo and Inner City Ministry, first of its kind, as a recognition of the fact that there are so many Ghanaian citizens of different ethnic, nationality, who identified themselves only in the...
Well, we'll move on to other stories now, where residents of the Dafiama Busi Isa district will soon have a great sigh of relief. The residents who, over the years, have grappled with the terrible nature of their roads are happy as work has started on some of the major roads in the community. This means that their difficulties with transportation will soon be a thing of the past.
The roads being worked on include the Wogu to Isa and Fian to Bozir roads, which are major roads linking the district to some major parts of the region. The district chief executive for the area, Fidelus Zumakwe, said the road construction would improve security, healthcare delivery, as well as enhance transportation in the area.
We'll stay outside of the city. Now, government's developmental drive in the provision of good roads, potable water and other infrastructure appear to be a situation that needs a lot of investment. This is because many communities across the country are yet to have their share of these basic social amenities. One of such communities is Papase in the Greater Accra region, where residents want government to turn its attention to them because they lack good roads, hospitals and potable water.
A sprawling community within the Ga-West municipality of the Greater Accra region, Papase is home to over 500 people. Residents moved from the capital Accra to settle here in their quest for cheap accommodation. But the condition here is making their lives unbearable. There are bad road networks linking to their homes. On my visit to the community, I came across this vehicle which had broken down as a result of the poor nature of the road. Not far from here, another vehicle carrying construction materials also broke down and the driver had to call for help.
Shani hanyar nan dai ko lokacin da zamu ne da sarauta na mun shiga wajen mahal mun ce mai MC ya ce ya kawo machine ya zo yi lokacin da ya kusa mun je wajen shi waya ya tafiya waya je Egypt muka bi ba mu samu bahal kagan hanyoyin ma ba ci cire ba kuma ba ci cirewan bane zai zo ya kawo sometime a blocking shi a zo a ce za kare gidayen wannan su zama muna damuwa amma zu an ci cire shi a azai amma still yana nan an zo a gina a kaba.
Aside the bad road network, there is no access to potable water and residents only resort to wells. Papase Zongo chief Alhaji Mohammed Idris says residents have to commute to Nsawam to access health care because the community lacks a clinic. This, he says, puts the lives of residents, especially women, at risk during emergency cases.
Problem da muke da shi ne ba mu samu daki sosai as makaranta ko school daki a gina muna haka ba. Idan ka gan structure da ke bayan ga wurin muke karatu. Yanzu haka iska aka yi ya kware zingilin wannan dakin. To saboda shi cikin masallaci muke koyan abu ba mu da daki sosai ko makaranta ko school haka.
Meanwhile, residents want a school to be constructed in their community. An Islamic teacher, Imam Wasiu Suleiman, tells GH1 News the community has offered 5 plots of land for the construction of a school and a clinic, but lack of resources has stalled the project, so they want government to intervene. As government maps out its developmental agenda, it is important to consider communities such as Papase in order to improve the socio-economic development of residents.
Well, whilst we stay on development, this time we'll look at issues around children. Now, stakeholders are demanding the creation of an enabling environment to change the inequalities in child development. Now, according to them, certain interventions only tend to benefit a few due to some gaps in the implementation processes. Now, as the world marks International Children's Day today, children in Ghana are calling on the government to ensure equal access to education and other basic needs. Abena Usunyameche has more in this report.
Emmanuel Opon is a 15-year-old apprentice here at the Arts Center. Months ago, he dropped out of school after the demise of his father. He has no idea November 20 is being marked as International Children's Day. He wishes he was in school.
Timbra so ko trek go dem go school. Itamba. Pese mempese akora bia bani no fie. Pese yinyi no bia ko school. Ena mehwehwe.
The day is being marked with the aim of saving the lives of children, fight for their rights, and help them fulfill their potential. This year's International Children's Day is on the theme, Kids Take Over. From early child marriage, neglect, female genital mutilation, poverty, among others, children the world over use today to highlight changes they wish to see in society. As Emmanuel worked under the scorching sun, his peers had gathered at the African Dialogue, an event which provided a platform for children in parts of the continent to espouse their views on the issues they face and their expectations from policymakers.
Many children I see outside are moving, but they don't have a better future. What I can see, that they don't have a better future, and I can't see any improvement in African society and or Ghana society. They should set serious law, and anybody who go against the law should be punished severely to make Ghana a rightful country.
Africa, where children do what just they want, no slavery, no discrimination, not beating one and leaving one.
These teachers who joined the children to mark the day called for the depoliticization of issues related to education.
Education should be left on its own. Politics should have its own role, but education should have its own policy planners or whatever, so that we would follow a certain line and then see the result. Teaching should be creative. It's in a straight jacket, and so the children is like, I had to chew pass and then that is all, and it shouldn't be. It's a continuous process. So it means that the books that are being printed for the student itself, we should update them.
Co-founder of the People Initiative Foundation, Daniel Entry, told the news team although interventions like the free SHS program inure to the benefit of the Ghanaian child, a lot needs to be done to bridge the inequality gap between the urban and the rural child.
I would say good things are happening, but yet again we should improve and increase what is being done so far. There is still more to do. You could see there is the rural child and the urban child. That is a clear, I would say, a clear gap of inequality, and so you expect CSOs and various policies to bring access to equality.
Now, we'll dedicate our next few stories to our departed colleague. You recall that last Saturday, the Ghanaian people woke up to the very shocking news of the demise of our colleague and host of Ekosisem, Kwadwo Asare Bafo Echampong. Here's a piece we put together in his memory.
Wasempa 94.7 with yours truly, Kojo Kaba. It's a brand new man. The Lord has been good indeed. His mercies endured forever. Shawan Kanche said that journey will be easy. But what he told us, that he will be with us every step of the way.
It wasn't business as usual Monday morning at Multimedia Group. The media giants had lost a very valuable asset. The host of the authoritative afternoon show, Ekosisem, is no more, and a memorial service quickly had to be organized in his honor. And if you had never come into contact with Kwadwo Asare Bafo Echampong when he was alive, the memorial gave you an idea of what sort of character he was. Captains of industry, fellow presenters and journalists, politicians from all the divides, and a cross-section of the public had gathered at the forecourt of Joy FM. Emotions poured forth as colleagues mourned the affable and literally larger-than-life Kaba, who every afternoon held listeners spellbound with his unbiased talk show.
He was very personable if you had met him. Quote-unquote ordinary. Even though he was very extraordinary in the media circles, personally he was very, very ordinary. Very ordinary. Relate to everybody, smile, laugh with everybody, have a joke with everyone. I don't know, maybe he didn't realize how big he was, or if he did, but his level of humility is what I'm telling everyone, including myself, that look, let's take something out of his level of humility.
he was not just a friend. We shared a birthday too, and so we have a lot of jokes and stuff together. I will do what we can to keep his memory alive. We'll remember the good times we had, do what we can to support the family. But please, we really don't want to lose any more of our friends and loved ones like this. So let's take care of one another and let the moments that we have together have meaning and value and count.
I'm still hoping that we will have a different call from the morgue telling us he was in a coma, and that is not true, because some of us are yet to come to terms with the fact that he is dead, because Kaba was so close to some of us. We recently traveled to Germany together, myself, Afia Pokia, Nanaya Abrefo. And every morning when we woke up, the first thing he would say is, Chale, and then worship. Then we will start. And his favorite song was Min si de min kamfu, minyami min si de min kamfu, onyami wa ibia mamio. And Kaba will be singing the song and will raise his hands up high, and that tells you how close he is with his maker.
Kaba, until his sudden death, was the host of popular late afternoon political talk show Ekusi Ise on Asempa 94.7 FM. He is survived by Valentina Ofori-Efrie in a marriage that lasted less than 2 years and a baby that's less than 1 year old. A book of condolence has been opened at the front desk of the radio building of the multimedia group at Okumimle in memory of the late Kaba.
Well, now that's a very sad development there, but people continue to eulogize with him and the family. And just a brief about Kaba. Now, before moving into the media space as a successful broadcaster, you should know that he was a teacher at the Ebenezer No. 4 JHS at Mamprobi, where he taught social studies and, be a shocker, religious and moral education. Now, the news team caught up with some of his students before he rounded up his life as a teacher within the educational sector.
Sometimes we feel in a subject, he will call us. Instead of maybe giving us some lashes, he looks at our performance and will call us and advise us on how we can learn and how to improve on our education. So all I can say is hearing his demise has really been a shock to me.
He was a good teacher. He used to call, when he comes to class, he will call me, hey, could you wait, brah? I'm saying, I'm here. We were good students then, so he liked us. So when I heard about the death of my teacher, I became worried. That was Saturday morning. I became worried, started crying. Oh, why now?
According to Raymond Jila, a teacher colleague to Kaba, was a great person who was loved by all.
But for us, I came to meet in this school, Mamprobi Ebenezer 4, was, in fact, he was a dedicated teacher. Somebody who wants to impart knowledge into the students, and he doesn't play with his work. He comes to school and he teaches, not only the teaching, any other work pertaining to teaching he will do. He inspires the children, and he makes sure that the best is gotten out of the children. Now that is at the people's level. We the teachers, when you come to meet us, those days, if you had been there to see how we relate, he's so affable, so jovial. He will create fun anytime he is in school. In fact, or he was in school, we are always laughing. We crack jokes, you know, as colleagues. You wouldn't know the difference between even a head teacher and teachers, because we are all one.
Moments like this sometimes give you, a shocker. He's not somebody I met personally, but I do recall when the budget was read 2 years ago. He called Imani and wanted an interview at the time. And I heard his name come. I'm like, what's?
Yeah,
I didn't know it was Kojo. Sorry,
he had this jingle where Asiedun Ketia. He mentions his name and he says Kaba. Asiedun Ketia goes like Emaka Beya, and then he goes like, you know. I worked at multimedia before, and so I encountered him a few times. Such a pleasant man, and it's you know, it's cliche when we lose somebody, we say that it's a big blow to any fraternity at all. But this is a big blow. This really is. It's a big one. Kweku, it's time for business, and what's happening in the world of business, really? Did you know him? Did you?
Well, I encountered him once or twice, but I must say I was an avid listener of him. I mean, anytime he comes on there, there's this Methodist bishop who's, you know, all those who blare, and I'll go like, oh my God.
I think he found his place in the media space, and that's what has touched a lot of Ghanaians.
For me, it's just a major loss. It's just a major loss for the industry. But we pray his soul rest in perfect peace. But having said that, in a while we come your way with business, and we'll find out how it pans out.
Business Brief is brought to you by Dusk Capital. We see a millionaire in you. We're looking for you, the next millionaire. We know of your stressful routine. From those 12-hour flights across the Atlantic to your hustle through traffic every day. From burning the midnight oil to that laptop that never sleeps. We know where you are in life, and we know where you want to go. Let us take you there. Thinking investment? Think Dusk Capital. Dusk Capital. We see a millionaire in you.
Sasso, sasso, mi si come tonton preko. Sasso, sasso, mi si come tonton preko. E gana drame ne buseshe. Ya hakesia ne malaria. Minya me phone me sasso spray. Every mosquito starting run away. Tonton preko, sasso sasso, mi se come tonton preko. Come tonton preko, sasso, come tonton preko. Na ni sham ne die e demonstronko. Sasso.
Bronya. Freddy's Corner. Yasa baby Bronya obia se Freddy's Corner. Edientia. Yeah, Chenyoma. I mean free instant gift. Nya wo hia so be kwera Freddy's Corner shop bia wo Ghana ha baby ya. What try do Freddy's Corner Bronya we ya. Wo be nya chede bi to say emo wine, mackerel, biscuits, and in your man would do bebre. Wow,
Freddy's Corner, thank you.
Freddy's Corner, me that say. Nya we here so be where Freddy's Corner shop bia we Ghana ha baby. Na do mobile phone, with laptop, or printer, and also PlayStation. Na do instant gift. Wow, to Mrikako Freddy's Corner. Na what do watch here? Freddy's Corner, your home of authentic mobile phone and accessory.
Head office, Kokomlimli, any city light, ni DNMshare. Fre 020-7937-323.
All right, so time for us to do business now, and my name is Kweku Timi. Straight away, let's talk about investments. As the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, that's Yofi Grant, has announced that Ghana recorded a total of $5.63 billion worth of investments in the first 3 quarters of year 2017. Now, some 12,200 jobs have been created as a result of the $4.37 billion FDI injection into the economy. Out of the 44 projects registered during the third quarter of year 2017, 33, which represents 75% of the total projects, were wholly foreign-owned enterprises valued at $61 million. The remaining 11 were joint ventures between Ghanaians and foreign partners valued at $58.73 million. The Chief Executive Officer of the GIPC, Yofi Grant, said the GIPC closed the third quarter of the fiscal year ending 31st December 2017 with $3.37 billion out of the $5 billion direct booking target for the year. He noted total foreign direct investments into Ghana included FDI investments registered at the Free Zones Board, the Minerals Commission and the Petroleum Commission. He explained out of the investments registered within the period from January to September 2017, China was the leading source of investments, registering over 25 projects.
But the list of countries from where these projects are coming is very interesting. In the third quarter alone, I think in the lead are 5 projects from the UK, 5 projects from India. But if you look at the sectors, because they're small, the country with the most investments in the third quarter will be China.
The GIPC boss added that there were indications of increasing FDI interest into Ghana on the back of improving macroeconomic environment and a government committed to improving the business climate as well as repositioning of the GIPC to play a more active and aggressive role in making Ghana the most attractive and competitive investment destination in Africa.
We are seeing investors come from all over the globe, from Poland, from Slovakia, from Czech Republic. I think that Ghana is in the right place and is open for business. And so we are going to do all that we have to do at GIPC to make sure it's an attractive place, but also benefits our people in forms of partnerships and capacity building within the Ghanaian.
All right, so let's talk more business as former President GHOne Newsroom is calling for a policy that will focus on the profitability in the country's energy sector. Well, according to him, the country can, through this new policy, create partnership to attract domestic investments in the sector, particularly in the renewable energy sector, that can be exported to neighboring countries in large quantities.
As government prepares to embark on a solar rooftop program for all its ministries and agencies, and emphasized it will no longer sign any power purchase agreement for thermal generation of electricity, many stakeholders in the energy sector have lauded the initiative. They claim it will bode well for Ghana's renewable energy prospects. Former President GHOne Newsroom is, however, calling for a policy that will focus on creating partnerships that will generate more investment, making the country's renewable energy sector a profitable one.
Whilst we attract the domestic investors, we should know that the world is one big market now, and we may also talk of partnerships. But I believe that if all the partnerships should try to have local content. When I talk of local content, I'm not just talking of employment. I'm talking of equity holders and partnerships that would bring together know-how, capital, markets to generate.
Chairman of Strategic Security Systems Limited, the only company that produces solar panels in the entire West African region, believes it is high time Ghana makes much of its natural resources for the benefit of the entire nation.
We have this plant here. At the moment, we have the capacity to deliver. If we don't have the capacity, even now, we can expand to absorb whatever need government may have. So I feel very positive about that, because in doing all this, government also wants to make sure that it makes savings. And I think government will make a lot of savings introducing that as a policy.
The Chief Innovations Officer of the Strategic Security Systems Limited, which is in its 10th year of operations, says the company is willing to partner Ghana in order to reduce dependence on fossil fuel.
We want to create a kind of environment where, you know, the media is able to tell our story, and we're able to tell our story through the media. We're able to tell our story for people to join us and celebrate. This is a huge achievement. Ghanaian companies, we are pushing towards being a legacy company, and that is our goal here. So we want to do this not for ourselves, but for Ghana. Ghana is an agent of change for the continent, and we want to be at the forefront of that conversation. And so everything that we do is going to be focused on that.
All right, so that's all we have for you in business tonight. If you're seeking to be a great investor, probably become a millionaire, then Dusk Capital is looking for you tonight. We're grateful that they supported us to bring you business.
Business Brief was brought to you by Dusk Capital. We see a millionaire in you.
You're watching News Tonight. We are live on GH1 television. Coming up now is Insight. Imagine living in a world where no one understands your emotions because you cannot speak. You're equally forced to accept whatever is handed to you because you cannot express yourself in any form. That is the case of 24-year-old physically and mentally challenged Wanda Tashaiman here in Accra. He spends most of his time locked up with ducks his parents keep, and that is the price he has to pay for being struck by an unknown condition. Alice Aite has more in the following report.
Without pants or diapers, 24-year-old Wanda crawls like a baby in this enclosed area with his parents' dogs. Named Wanda, his condition is very puzzling to his poor parents. His mother says he got missing for 3 whole days right after birth before he was brought to her. Left alone most often to do his own thing, he gets stained with dirt and sometimes by his own feces mingled with waste products from the ducks. Wanda cannot walk, talk or do anything for himself, and so he cannot communicate when he feels the urge to ease himself or urinate. At 24, his mother is too poor to furnish him with diapers to at least keep him clean. The inability to do anything for himself means he is heavily dependent on his 50-year-old mother, who is also jobless. Wanda's mother, Mama Kos, tells me they have no clue what condition their son is suffering from, since he has been like this since infancy.
They didn't tell me nothing that this is the reason why my son made like this or like this. They didn't tell me nothing.
So up till now, 24 years, you don't know what is wrong with him?
I didn't know what to do. Just ask me my experience or whatever. Yeah, I just told myself that maybe the injection that because it takes many injections. So I just think that maybe the many injection or the too much of the injection, maybe it didn't let me remain for Floyd when it cannot.
Their poverty has prevented them from seeking answers and perhaps getting him help.
He can't eat, he can't do nothing. Even sometimes if you go to toilet, but for all his body.
At the time of our visit at around 10:30 in the morning, his mother had just returned from church to serve him breakfast. After being fed his breakfast, he had to be put on this old trunk to be bathed, but that was not done easily as his mother had to struggle, turning him around to clean his whole body. When asked why Wanda is left all alone and sometimes locked up here in this space with the ducks, his mother explained it is to save him from being discriminated against. She also says she keeps her son with the ducks when going out to prevent him from wandering around and getting lost.
The reason why, when you opened the door before you came, she went out. Some people think that maybe he's not a human being or whatever. I would say, the last time I go, I was sleepy because I slept on the other side. Them two in the brothers they sleep for here. I was in the room, so don't around 4:30. Someone can come that I should come and see my son was going. Before I realized, he reached what do you call it? 22.
Just like many other persons with disability, Wanda's rights are clearly being violated. A 24-year-old forced to live with DACS. Wanda's mother might have an explanation for her action, but is it sound and does it excuse the fact that her son's rights are being trampled on?
The only help I need, either I'll get free, but I need the way that you can fit stand on it. Whether if I get the way that you get leg or they will put tie under. Because of if there's no one in the house, he can feel, he himself can feel go around. Because of he was sitting on the floor for long, so the bones are what? They are grown, they are lost. So I want him to stretch the leg. Maybe if we get the feel to say after, if they can give him, put him something to stretch the leg, so that he can feel manage himself for work or whatever, and that's what I want.
Majority of persons with disabilities like Wanda still face various forms of discrimination and are more likely to live in poverty because of their inability to assert their rights. There are always unseen barriers inhibiting their inclusion into mainstream society. Alice Aite, GH1 News.
No, that's a very sad report there, and you know, sometimes you see some of these things and either you are touched or you're worried, whether or not as a country we are waking up to the realization that persons with disabilities have rights first of all, but you know, the sort of support systems that we have to cater for them. But we have been joined in studio by the Communications and Media Relations Officer for the Ghana Federation of Disability Organizations, in the person of Mr. Abdul Adam Wahab, who will give us, you know, some insights and some of the support systems that exist for the family you have just seen in that story. Mr. Abdul Wahab, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
You saw the report. What do you make of it, first of all? I mean, before we even get into the exact details of exactly what support systems can be provided for a family like that.
All right. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Looking at the report, I realized that even the family did not actually understand what they mean by discrimination, because it's like they have discriminated against him and they are still saying that they do such so that people will not have the opportunity to discriminate against him. It means they have little understanding or knowledge about disability.
Well, so for a family, so clearly, I mean, I think the point you're making there is that the population, or even if we have to take this story out of context, people still do not understand the exact rights that must be accorded persons with disabilities. But from your organization's perspective, I mean, what has been the challenges for dealing with persons with disabilities?
Yeah, you see, one problem or one of the main challenges is that sometimes if somebody think he or she knows something and you are trying to teach that person, it becomes very difficult for the person to understand the new thing that you are going to teach. Society, or Ghanaian society, for instance, have some perceptions and certain thinkings and notions about persons with disability and disability as a whole. So if the people have their own thinking and their own understanding about disability, it has become very difficult for advocacy organizations like Ghana Federation of Disability Organizations to just get them understand the situation immediately. We realize we have done a lot of advocacy, sensitization and education on the rights of persons with disability across Ghana, but you see that some communities or some people still do not have understanding about disability. And it is not that they don't have, it is their own thinking or attitude or perception that is making them so.
But Abdul, when you look at this family, it's not only a case of, you know, the woman or the mother. unconsciously discriminating against her own child.
Yeah.
I mean, beyond ignorance, it looks like this family is really poor. And out of a mother's best place in her heart, so her child does not go wandering, she decides that let's keep this child at home in an area where, despicable as it is, where he cannot go out of. It's difficult to want to classify that as discrimination, because truth is, it's coming from the best part of her heart to keep the child safe. What do we now begin to do for a family like this?
Yeah, I think this is a very serious societal issue. It is something that the states will have to take seriously. You know, Ghana has ratified the United Nations Convention on the Right of Persons with Disability. And one of the things that Ghana as a country or a party to the CRPD has to do is, first of all, to have created awareness. And in the process of creating awareness, it is the incumbent or the responsibility of the states to have identified some of these people and the challenges that they face and put down some measures that will help to improve their living condition. So I think that Ghana as a state, government will have to put a lot of measures as pertain in the United Nations Convention on the Right of Persons with Disability to ensure that family of such kind are given the best of support so that they can also support their children with disabilities.
Is there anything that the Federation could do for young Wonder?
Yeah, I think this is the first time the Federation has witnessed this story of this gentleman. And then what the Federation will have to also follow up the story, then have our interactions with the family and try to actually realize what has been the issue and see if there is any support we can give. At least we could work for government to look into the District Assembly Common Fund that is allocated to persons with disability, to look at the component to give him that little support.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Adam Abdul Wahab, for sharing these insights with us. For those of you at home, you have seen the story. I think the family is still calling for help. A wheelchair that can help young Wonder navigate his immediate surroundings. We haven't talked about other, more sophisticated rights issues like access to education and further economic opportunities that he can get. Some are equally calling for medical assistance so they can properly understand the problem. And it's very worrying. For 24 years. The family cannot tell exactly what's wrong with them.
Poverty, ignorance.
And that's a huge challenge. And we have been asking you questions at home in our regular poll. A 24-year-old physically and mentally challenged person spends his day locked up with ducks to keep him from straying outside. What can be done to help him? Well, 71% of you believe medical care is something that is of urgency. 16% believe we should find him a shelter. Well, another 13% believe the government should take it up. What these results appear to suggest is that I think the Ghanaian public is waking up to the realization that the government cannot solve majority of these problems. Yes, they'll make provisions from laws and acts, but it's not everything that the government can do. And so at this point, I think civil society organizations like the Ghana Federation of Disability Organizations, I suspect they are advocacy, so they may do the advocacy and get laws to work.
Yes.
But
and all the other advocacy groups, they should stop hiding in their offices and actually get on the ground and do some
we'll have to find people who can help and roll up some sleeves as well.
But Wanda's mother, whatever the intention is, you need to stop keeping him with the ducks.
Well, she needs a space that she can keep him. Anyway, that brings us to the end of Insight. We'll be back with more stories.
According to UNICEF, 2.1 billion people around the world lack access to safe water and basic sanitation. In Ghana, the situation is even worse. My name is Ridwan Karim Dini Osman. This month on GHOne News, I bring you portraits of the countryside. In this edition, I take you to hard-to-reach areas in northern Ghana where access to basic amenities, including potable water, is non-existent.
To get firewood and boil the water and do other things, we can't afford. So we know we contaminate ourselves by drinking this sort of water, but we have no other thing to do than to...
Join me on this revealing adventure. GHOne News, news you can trust.
Kakai 777 bitters.
Ghana ne China no bina kwani e dia shemu chiche bi now be fine drink and make you no waste time yampa kakai bitters yeah come it's good for your party so kakai bitters for your engagement so kakai bitters good for your funeral so kakai bitters it's good for your wedding so your wedding so it's good for your party so for your engagement so good for your funeral so
Num nyansem and don't man nipa wonyantie dunwote and sese apemfo nom e wo drinking sport BM Kakai 777 bitters and kasa.
Welcome to Solartech, the #1 manufacturer of innovative products in power protection. Solartech Fridge Guard. Solartech Fridge Guard protects fridges against low voltage, spikes, and power back surges which can damage any refrigeration appliance's compressor. It is ideal for fridges, domestic freezers, and water dispensers up to 6 amps. It disconnects the power when the voltage goes below unacceptable level and has a delay of 3 minutes to prevent massive surge experienced when power returns after power cut. Remember, stay original, buy Solartech. For more information, please visit www.solartechghana.com.gh. Solartech, the power to protect.
8 hours a day, 40 hours a week, close to 2,000 hours a year. That's what you invest in your business as you strive for the life you dream of. You're putting in the work. Make sure you get what you deserve. Get retrenchment insurance, get an overdraft, get a Visa credit card, get Barclays Prestige Banking. You've earned it.
Have you ever wondered where you could find a great dentist or optician in Accra? How about finding that awesomely neat and trendy hospital in Tema where you can take your family when they need to see a doctor? Be it a hospital, lab, ambulance service or endoscopy center. Looking for any type of trusted medical service has never been easier. Thanks to My Care Finder, Ghana's most comprehensive healthcare services directory and customer review website. Our network of service providers is growing rapidly every day. My Care Finder helps you find the right provider based on location, reviews, and overall ratings. The provider profiles are complete with information on open times, amenities, insurance accepted, clinical specialties, and more. Visit mycarefinder.net today to start searching and sharing your reviews.
Charlie, Christmas they come. NASCO go shake the market again with huge discounts and free gifts. You go get the 24-inch NASCO digital satellite television for 599 Ghana cedis, or the 32-inch for just 799 Ghana cedis. Even the 50-inch set, you go get them for 1,999 Ghana cedis per. They come with free home theater and a wall mount.
Then the market go be well for this Christmas.
That's in the starts now. You talk say Christmas, and you can also get yourself a NASCO air conditioner for 1,199 Ghana cedis and get a free AC bracket.
People will enjoy it, Papa.
If it's a gas cooker where you like, pick up the 4-burner NASCO cooker, which is ranging from 499 Ghana cedis to 1,090 Ghana cedis, and you go get yourself free kettle. Or if it be the 5-burner stainless steel one you want, you get yourself a free oven toaster. The NASCO Christmas warmer promotion is available in all NASCO showrooms and authorized dealers. NASCO, bring home happiness.
Beverages Limited, Kakai 777 bitters.
Me pensa papa bia no manu bina shemuma Ghana ne China no bina kwani e dia shemuma Chiche bina obeye fine Drink and make you no waste time Yampa kakai bitters yeah come It's good for your party so Kakai bitters For your engagement so Kakai bitters Good for your funeral so Kakai bitters It's good for your wedding so Your wedding so It's good for your party so For your engagement so Good for your funeral so
Num nyansem and don't man nipa when yantie do what and sese apem for num a drinking sport BM Kakai 77.
You're live on GHOne Television's News Tonight. We're also live on DSTV channel 361, so you can equally tune in. But coming up as a segment, we have themed portraits of the countryside. Well, it may be seen as a laughable joke in some parts of the world to tell someone to climb a tree if they are experiencing network problems whilst communicating on their mobile phones. However, in Bilisinga, a remote village in the Gushegu district of the northern region of Ghana, that will not sound funny to anyone at all, because under a tree on top of it is the only way to find a mobile network. Tonight on the Portrait of the Countryside, Karim Dini Osman joins residents and they're set for the fickle mobile telecommunications network. That's more in the report.
Several kilometers away from the northern regional capital Tamale lies Bilisinga, a very remote village in the Gushegu district. Bilisinga is not only cut off but also deprived, as all basic amenities like water, electricity, toilet facilities are non-existent. Hold on. In the heart of this community stands a tree highly revered by residents. You dare not attempt bringing it down. This tree is supposedly crucial if residents would want to get in touch with the outside world.
The option that we have is to struggle the other angle, is either by taking the tree, or we position ourselves in a situation that you can make a call, you easily make a call. But some other times when you make a call, you have to be at one point, because if you move a next step, it means that you are going to lose the call that you are going.
Like many other remote villages in the northern region of Ghana, getting communication network signals in Bilisinga has become a case of chance, if not impossible. However, this has not discouraged the locals from getting their individual mobile phones, regardless of the brand. It is 3 in the afternoon, a period residents say the network hardly fails under the tree. They emerge from different corners of the village, indicating that a search for network signals has indeed begun. After failed attempt to get connected on the ground, residents identify strategic spots where they use the tree branches to tie their phones with the hope of stabilizing and capturing the network. After this, all one needs are patience and optimism.
Hello? Hello?
While all this is going on, some have already secured seats on top of the tree. Belesinya gets talking here.
Hello? Hello?
How be your core? Uti swana, uti sayana, uti say just a waba, and I say your corner. A month for baby or mufon, just one mudia bay then. Mudia bay, Adriana Susuru. You say, and yes, I call bound to me your corner. And intina. Phones in the doors.
This is a daily exercise that is not always smooth sailing. Sometimes they go home with bruises or a fracture. But sometimes too, impatience coupled with desperation sets in, and these residents take their pursuit to another level by trekking nearly 8 kilometers to other areas where the network signals are quite stable. But even there, not everyone is lucky.
If you want to communicate to other places, in other maybe people, you have links to other places. Maybe, but if you realize that where you are, you have no network, you cannot do anything, you will be forced to move to that place, to a place that you think you can get a network. So we are appealing to the institutions, especially government, to come to our aid, networkers and other things. They should come and help our people out of that thing.
According to residents, many people, including pregnant women, have died while giving birth at the hands of traditional birth attendants when that one phone call could not get through to the nearest ambulance service provider. Residents here don't have a toilet facility. They don't have electricity. In fact, they don't even have a source of potable water. But these are the least of the concerns they have. What they want is to be able to make that important phone call in times of emergency. Ghana's telecommunication journey has been quite progressive. However, successive governments have over the years paid lip service to digital inclusion in unserved and underserved communities in the country, a situation that continues to widen the already yawning inequality gap between those in rural and urban areas. Back in the national capital, Accra, we sought some answers from the Communication Ministry.
We are now looking for the funding to be able to do that. With the IMF stuff going on currently, it makes it difficult to get credit to be able to expand connectivity. But we're considering other arrangements, and I know that before long, within the next couple of months, those conversations should crystallize, and we should start rolling out an integrated network across the country, government-led, by the middle of next year, hopefully.
The total cellular and mobile voice subscriber base in Ghana as of April 2013 was 26,591,124. MTN Ghana has the largest market share, and they explain what has accounted for the challenges.
The signal is not found on trees, first of all. A signal is supposed to be concentrated in a particular location at any point in time to serve the people. From what you're describing, it appears that they're going chasing signal that is not supposed to be to cover them. So once the list comes up from DFEC as a locality that needs to be covered, like we indicated earlier, we'll look at the requirements and what it takes to give proper coverage in that locality, and that will happen. What we can do from our end is to look at what actually is happening technically on the ground and see how we can help optimize the network to be able to give them some form of network until the permanent solution is acquired. But we still have to work together with GIFEC to be able to give them proper coverage.
The UN Sustainable Development Goal 9 focuses on building resilient infrastructure and fostering innovation, particularly through increasing access to ICT. Achieving this target by 2030 in Ghana will require a more holistic and inclusive approach in dealing with challenges in areas like Bilisinga. Reporting for GH1 News, my name is Ridwan Karim Dini Osman.
Why you dey flex me? Why you think say I be 20? My phone always the ring, cause the girls I get plenty. Flex. Hey, yo, why you dey flex?
You dey flex, oh.
Everybody they blow me fans, like I be some new big star. Social media guru, I dey keep up with the trends. Fast internet, I dey connect with my friends. Charlie, I can flex you. Quality movie on my screen straight from YouTube.
Hey, mama, who flex you?
I get money from my phone to make a sort you. We dey chill for Facebook like Ice Cube. With Airtel Flex, enjoy more of what you like. Watch movies, stream videos and songs, get free social media all day long and exciting money backs. Whatever your style is, we have a package for you. Dial *125# to choose your flex. Now, you dey flex.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Let's go shopping. Are you a small-scale enterprise? Do you have products and services that you want to advertise? Be part of this great opportunity to introduce your products to your potential clients. Call 056-073-7374 to book a space for the most watched television advertising show on GH1 TV. Let's go shopping, your TV mall.
Hey, yo, but why you dey flex me? Why you think say I be 20? My phone always the ring, cause the girls I get plenty. Flex. Hey, yo, but why you dey flex?
You dey flex, oh.
Everybody they blow me fans, like I be some new big star.